everyone, welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. It is I, Captain Logan. Joining me as always is my wonderful chat moderator and producer, DJ Martinez. Hello, DJ.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Evening. Not much, man.
It's time for Bombast.
That's a good supervillain name.
Ooh, yeah. I'm surprised that's not a thing. Bombast. That's good. How are you doing, man?
Or like a Shazam type character where you get your powers from that. I call upon the powers of Bombast.
Yeah, that'd be good. Well, how have you been for the last 4 hours since I saw you last?
Yeah, since you saw me last, I picked up my kids from school. We played outside and jumped on the trampoline a little bit. I did a workout with my wife. Then we made dinner, and we ate the dinner. And I read my kid a story, and now I'm here.
It's a good point. Nobody ever mentions the eating part. There's like, we made dinner. Okay, but did you consume it? Like, there's another step in there.
Yeah. And the fire alarm went off while she was cooking dinner, and
oh, wow.
I opened the door to let the smoke out. There wasn't even any smoke, but I opened the door anyway. And then my dog was terrified of the sound, ran out my back porch into the woods. I had to chase him through the woods. I'm pretty sure I ran through a bunch of poison ivy, but I got him. He's safe, and now I'm here.
Oh no! I hope you're not going to be covered in poison ivy next time I see you. No.
It'll just be my ankles if it's
well, that's an afternoon. It's exciting. My afternoon wasn't nearly that exciting. I took my kids for a walk. See, we're like old people. We're like old, family people now.
Family guys. That's what you get when you tune into the Captain Logan Show. A couple of family guys answering your crazy and wild questions.
Yep, family-friendly show with people that will not stop talking about their friggin' kids.
It's disgusting, really.
We coined a new term today, DJ and I, when we were shooting the Paramount Plus first impressions video. We didn't actually get it on video, but afterwards we were talking about how the Snyder Cut is coming and how it's a whopping 4 hours, and we were lamenting that Zack Snyder is apparently going to put in like chapter headings. Like there's going to be like 6 of them, and that's going to make it even more irritating to me that we're not getting it split up like I was kind of excited about when it was supposed to be in episodes. And so then DJ coined Snyder Cut as a unit of time. So now if something takes about 4 hours, we're going to say, we're going to try to get this to catch on. How long did that take? I don't know. About a Snyder Cut.
About a Snyder Cut. Yeah, movies are about half a Snyder Cut long these days.
Yeah, and a Snyder Cut is about a third a fortnight.
It's true. There we go. All kinds of uses we're coming up with.
Seriously. It's a unit of measurement that was missing.
Yeah, Return of the King, about a Snyder Cut.
About a Snyder Cut. Yeah, that's true. Well, anyway, how is everybody? Welcome to the live show. Thanks a bunch for being here. I see Blue Dragon 5 in the comments. There's Anime, Cinematographic is there, Jedi Knight, Daniel Davis, Mutale's in there, Hayden Spring. Hi, guys. Thanks for watching After the Fact if you're doing that. Tonight is just going to be kind of a relaxed, let's hang out together show. Ask me anything you want to within reason throughout the show. We're going to answer a bunch of questions if we can, and I don't have any kind of a lead-in topic. I do have an email to read before we get on to questions, and I'll do that in just a minute, DJ. But I want to thank everybody for being here. I labeled tonight's show The Calm Before the Storm because we're about to have 2 weeks of crazy madness with new superhero stuff. This weekend, we're going to be doing the spoiler cast for WandaVision. That's going to be on Sunday night at 7 o'clock Central Time. And then and on the Discord on Saturday, we're going to be doing a watch party for that. So, DJ, I'm actually going to be watching that whole show at once in a row over Saturday night. And then I'm gonna sleep some Sunday, and then I'm gonna talk about the show Sunday night. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And then next, I'm a little bit on the fence about how I feel about that show overall now. By the end of it, there's some letdown in that ending to me. I'm trying to decide my full opinion on some of that stuff, and I really need another watch. So hopefully that will help me determine what I end up saying on Sunday, because there are some things that can go either way for me right now. But ultimately, I don't think I liked it as much as I thought I was going to at the beginning. But we'll talk about that on Sunday. And then I'm gonna have at least Connor with me and Austin with me that night. And then next week, we're going to be doing on the Friday after the Snyder Cut comes out, so the 19th. The Snyder Cut comes out Thursday the 18th. Friday the 19th, we're going to be doing a blind commentary, or excuse me, I shouldn't say commentary, a blind watch party on the channel live. We're going to watch the entire thing, and we're going to basically just react to it. So if you want to join us for that, I kind of implore you not to watch it first, because the whole point of that is to be kind of a first impressions for all of us. It's a straight up watch party. If you have seen it ahead of time, obviously I can't tell you what to do as far as that goes, but please don't spoil anything for us in the comments. We will eject you if you start telling us what is going to happen in the movie, because I will be looking at comments. I will read some things here and there as we go. I'll do a little talking, but we're not going to be doing like a full blown spoiler cast as we're watching it, or a commentary. I'm sure we'll make comments, and there might be a little bit of riffing here and there and stuff. Right now there's at least 4 of us that are going to be there, so it's going to be kind of a crowd. So come to that if you're so inclined. DJ is going to try to be there, and then I'm going to have Austin and Brandon both there as well. And then that Sunday, we're going to do the spoiler cast for that show. So that's all the news. That's all the big stuff that's about to happen. And I just wanted to kind of take the opening here and give you a quick plug for all of those things. Also, real quick, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, as I usually do, or I have been doing lately, I should say, is the premiere for the next Superhero Rewind, which is the theatrical version of Justice League. So you'll get to hear me talk about that for an hour before I've seen the Snyder Cut, and then down the road, sometime after 2 years, I'll do another rewind on the Snyder Cut itself. I'm not promising the crazy 5.5 hour breakdown that I did for BVS, but anything is possible. So anyway, that's what is going on. That's all the news that's fit to print. If you want to make sure that your question, comment, topic is discussed on the show, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount. We are 85-90% funded by the audience, and that helps us keep things chugging along here on the channel. If you don't want to do that, or you can't, that's totally cool. We will answer as many pre-written things as humanly possible. And you guys are wonderful. Thanks a bunch for being here. So DJ, before we start answering some questions, I got an email I need to read from the guy who founded and runs Comic Books for Kids. I had a conversation with him last week. He was absolutely delightful. I put in our donation. We raised $550 for that charity. And if you missed it, if you don't know about that, we did that, 3 weeks ago, a month ago now?
Yeah, it's been a few weeks already.
It's been a little while. So if you missed that, Comic Books for Kids is a charity that sends comics, and I should mention, because I didn't realize this at the time we did the show, and also other pop culture, like fun, like books and toys, and they have a thing going on right now with Funko, where Funko's been donating a bunch of stuff to them, and so they've been sending Funko Pops, and especially the board game. I saw on their Facebook they've been sending that to a lot of kids. So that's really neat. Cool. The cynical part of me thinks, well, yeah, they couldn't move those, so they keep getting, that might be a really fun game, maybe I shouldn't say that, but those keep getting discounted everywhere. As soon as I saw a picture of that, I was like, I'm not real surprised they're donating that, but it is really cool of Funko to be doing that for them. That's not all they're doing. They're sending out a lot of really cool stuff, but I just thought of that. Anyway, so I had a really nice conversation with him for like an hour on the phone. He was just floored that we raised that money, and he told me that he had just been thinking the night that because I sent that to him overnight, so a few hours before he got that, he was thinking, man, I could use another $500 or $600 right now, because he had huge shipping costs. They have expanded their warehouse space, and with that, he told me he got a little bit overzealous in the amount that he decided to ship for the next shipment, and he didn't quite have enough money to cover it, and our donations allowed him to ship everything he was trying to ship that week.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that was really great. So he sent me an email to read to you guys, and I will do that right now. So he said, James, would you please, that's my first name, would you please thank all those, this is Mark Weiss of Comic Books for Kids out of Chicago. Would you please thank all those incredible people who donated to us and helped support the kiddos? We are wrapping up, no pun intended, the last of our boxes from this massive 3-week shipping endeavor out of 175 hospitals that we support in every state of the country. And by the way, I found out, so they're in every state and some other places around the world, and I found out that he's only been doing this about 2.5 years, and it's blown up to the degree that it has. And even during COVID, over 40% of them wanted pop culture toys and comics, and each of them received at least 4 large boxes of fun. He told me that there are a number of hospitals that, because of COVID, don't accept anything, but the ones that are accepting more than they used to. He says our Facebook page will be showcasing the pictures that we are receiving across the country. Check that out on Facebook, Comic Books for Kids. But we could not do this without the incredible support of people like you and those who generously gave to help. As you can appreciate, our shipping costs are rather high, and events like these make a huge difference for us. Please, and again, thank them and let them each know they have contributed to so many smiles across the country. All of them made a difference and helped ensure that we keep doing what we do. Best to all, Mark Weiss. So once again, thanks to everybody who donated during that show. It was really exciting and really cool that we were able to do that for them. And it was really nice of this guy to reach out and write that thank you note to us. I also want to show you guys real quick, I should have had this up already, their website, because we are collectively now on their wall of heroes. And let me find that real quick and show that to you. Where is it? I
so
actually
like
don't
picture wall?
Right away. Yeah, it's like a picture wall.
Like on a restaurant?
It's a lot like that actually. I'm not seeing it right away. I'll find that and show it to you guys here in a minute. He put up the Geekvolution name, and it's got a picture of the tick next to it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on with that. And let's go ahead and start taking questions, guys.
All right.
What would you folks like to talk about this evening?
From Goofstar123.
Hi.
Here's $5 Roonies. Also, thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge?
So that is a video game. I just found out about this a couple hours ago. Somebody sent me the link to the trailer, and I have not looked any farther into it besides watching the trailer, so I don't know what platforms that's supposed to be on. But that is a throwback beat 'em up to the old Ninja Turtles arcade game and to Turtles in Time and things like that. It's officially licensed. Nickelodeon is making that. And the trailer was fun. It's a like a remake of the intro from the original Ninja Turtle show, and it includes some stuff that wasn't in that intro that's kind of fun. Like there's a Triceraton in it, and it's kind of proving that they know they're Ninja Turtles and that they like that property. And there's a new cover of that song, which was fine. I didn't love that cover, but it's okay. I wasn't on first look real impressed with the gameplay yet. It doesn't look to me real authentic to the gameplay of those games, and I gotta see more of it because it reminds me a lot of a beat 'em up that came out a few years ago for Power Rangers that looked okay when I saw the trailer, and then I played it and it was really generic and kind of boring and kind of repetitive, and I was not real impressed with it. So I'm hoping this is better than that, and that it doesn't look as generic as I thought the little bit of footage that we saw of it kind of looked. It looks like they're using maybe that engine or an engine like it, and it's I don't know, it's not quite what I would want for a thing like that. I would much prefer going back and using the exact aesthetic that we had with those games, or something a lot closer. But they might win me over on it, depending on what the gameplay is actually like and how many levels there are and how much variety there is of stuff to do. But I'm a little bit spoiled with the fan game that came out a couple 3 years ago, called Ninja Turtles. What is it? Rescue Palooza, which is exactly what this game is trying to do, but just based on what little gameplay I saw, I think that probably does it better. I'm hoping I'm wrong about that, but that game let you play as like 35 different characters. Like, you play through it and you're constantly unlocking people, and you could play as people like Tatsu from the Ninja Turtles movies, and Baxter Stockman, and like you can play as all the bosses, and it's really neat, and it's got throwbacks to a lot of those games, including the NES game, and I really doubt that this is going to go the 9 yards that did. So I don't know. I'm not real impressed yet. I've already got that game, even though it wasn't official, and so I don't know. I'm lukewarm on it so far, but hopefully it ends up being cooler than I think it looks. I know a lot of people are really excited about it.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't hear about that. Hopefully it's great. John Early gave us a $1 super chat donation.
Hello,
so thanks
John.
For that. And then John Ty, another John, gave us $5. What's your favorite comic book that no one talks about? Mine is the 12-issue Black Bolt mini that came out between 2017 and 2018.
I'm sorry, give me 1 second. So I found the Wall of Heroes. Here it is. And there we are.
Huh.
There is us.
There is us.
Yeah. So
that was really,
that was really nice of him.
Watch some of the channel or something? How did he know that you like the take?
You get to pick your own icon.
Oh, awesome.
And you're supposed to pick something comic related that you're a fan of. So everyone knows I'm a tick person, so I put the tick in.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, right. I'm sorry. Would you kindly read that super chat one more time?
Sure thing. What's your favorite comic book that no one talks about? And his is the 12-issue Black Bolt miniseries that came out between 2017 and 2018.
Yeah, I mean, obviously my go-to is the Ben Edlund tick one. I always talk about that. And some other things within that too, like Chainsaw Vigilante is a lot of fun and is the most underground looking thing they made. But beyond that, DJ, do you have any obscure comics that you're a big fan of?
I don't know if it's obscure, but I don't think
or I guess
a lot of this audience.
You just said stuff people don't tend to talk about.
Yeah, I don't think this audience would be into it, but Marvel put out an Oz series. I don't know if you've seen that. They went through like 4 or 5 of the Oz books, and like straight off the page, perfect adaptations of them. Really, really cool artwork. I have a big omnibus that's like all 6, and it's beautiful, and I love it. It's really cool. If you're a fan of Oz at all, like check that out.
Was that Scotty
really
Young?
I want to say that sounds familiar. I don't know.
I thought he did that. I don't know if he did the interiors, but
yeah, I don't know. But I can look that up while you're talking.
Because right around there, right after that, he did, was it for Image, or I can't remember which company, but he did I Hate Fairyland, which was a miniseries that was like really raunchy and vulgar and ultra super violent.
Wow.
That was like fairy tales for like adults, kind of twisted and perverse.
Interesting.
And I thought he did that because he had done the Oz books, but I may be wrong about that because I never read those, and it's been a long time.
Yeah, this is not that. This is just faithful adaptations.
Oh no, I know that. I know that.
I'm just if no one's heard of it, but
Roki says it was Scotty Young. That's what I thought.
Cool.
It's been a lot of years, so I wasn't sure. But anyway, yeah, I also really like Resurrection Man. That's a series that nobody remembers. That somebody remembered when New 52 happened because they brought it back and it was Abnett Lanning again, and then we'll never see that again, probably at this point. But they did come back and do 12 more issues, which was neat. But those are a couple. What else you got there, DJ?
I had a question from 5590ERS.
What?
More fun movie to watch. Ooh, I love these either-ors.
Yeah, me too.
Mortal Kombat 95 or Batman Forever?
For me, it's Batman Forever, but some of that is certainly nostalgia before it's anything. I mean, they're both certainly enjoyable movies, and both for, I don't know, somewhat similar reasons, I guess, to a degree, because they get very silly and they're difficult to take seriously with Batman Forever in certain places. With Mortal Kombat, that's the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that movie is certainly way more over the top and a lot more absurd than Batman Forever. And that movie is absurd, but has, inklings of being a smarter, more character-driven Batman movie, which drives some people crazy. So I would actually say between, I know this wasn't the question, DJ, I would say between the Mortal Kombat actually is more tonally even, as more of a clear identity, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's definitely more my sensibilities, just because it plays it completely straight in its silliness, and Batman Forever is more straight up people trying to be comedic a lot throughout the thing. So I would pick Mortal Kombat, but that's just because I'm not a huge Batman fan. But I don't go back to Mortal Kombat either that much. I've only seen it a couple times. So.
Yeah, in Mortal Kombat, I didn't see all of until I was an adult. I was at a friend of mine's birthday party when we were 10 or 11, and we watched it, but I wasn't paying a lot of attention. I think I only saw bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, and I've talked about before how I saw it really young, and it scared the bejesus out of me and gave me nightmares.
That's really funny.
Scorpion scene is horrifying. All right.
And then disappointing because he ends up not being a character and he's done.
Yeah, because he gets his stomach sliced open with a razor shield.
But that's what you were there to see. That's why you went to see that movie.
Philip Kelton. 50 Mexican pesos. When are you going to finish Undertale with Jason? Also, what storm?
The Storm is the onslaught of superhero things I have to review in the next 2 weeks. But
yeah, someone else was asking about the title. They're like, what does the title mean? It seems ominous.
And I should say, because we're going to be really busy here on the channel the next couple weeks. I guess I called it that because I was kind of surprised there wasn't really any big major news to talk about today. So this is just a nice, relaxing show. We can talk about whatever we want to, and then we're gonna get hit with big superhero things that we have to talk about over the next 2 weeks. We're gonna have to kind of put our noses to the grindstone and really get some work done. What was the other question he asked about? Oh, Undertale. I'm not sure yet. We just haven't had time to get back to it. I say we haven't had time. Last weekend, my wife and the other kids were out of town. Jason had some dance stuff he had to do, so we stayed back. So I stayed back to take him to that, and then it was just me and him in the house. And we thought about doing it then, but we ended up electing to watch some movies that are kind of harder for him to watch with me with the other kids around. So we did kind of a double feature, and we shot a father and son that will go up in a few weeks because we've got a big backlog of those still. Early on we shot several over a couple of weeks, and so we're still like 5 or 6 ahead on those. But we watched, I showed him the Spawn movie, DJ, which was a wonderful experience for me watching him watch that movie. And then I also showed him Liar Liar, and only because he likes Jim Karaoke and he likes Bruce Almighty, but he's never seen Liar Liar. And we discovered that the only things that we could find that those two movies had in common was the year 1997.
That makes sense. All right, where should we go next? How about Jedi Knight?
Where do we go now?
Where do we go now? I like this one. What book should the Muppets parody next?
What book?
I haven't done that in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Like Treasure Island and Christmas Carol.
Yeah, good call. You're more of the classic book guy.
Ubiquitous.
What jumps to mind? Because I'm thinking of like boring things nobody would ever want to see. Like The Muppets, Great Expectations.
It's tough.
The Muppets, Scarlet Letter.
I feel like things are being brought up so much more these days that it would be tough to bring up something that's not so already overdone.
The Muppets, Lord of the Rings.
That would be awesome. I'd be first in line to see that.
The Muppets, Lord of the Flies.
Oh, Miss Piggy would be the pig in that. Oh
yeah. The Muppets, Animal Farm.
Oh no. Let's just think of the darkest things.
The Muppets, 1984.
I'd like to see them do kind of a Jules Verne thing. That could be cool.
Yeah, that's
maybe
a good
too
idea.
close to the, maybe a little similar to the Treasure. But they could do like, well, they already did a space one, didn't they?
Yeah, and the problem, yeah, I mean that wasn't good. Like they could do another space one.
Yeah, a trip to the moon or
The problem is too many of the things that you might think to go to that would be cool for kids are things that either. And I realize that a lot of kids probably don't care about the Muppets anymore, but you know, you'd make it a kid-friendly thing. Are things that either Disney has already done, and so it would be too associated with that, or things that we don't think of as books first, even if they were books first.
Yeah, because the first thing I thought of, because we were just talking about
Robin Hood was the first thing that came to my mind. You know, you have. You do Adventures of Robin Hood, and you have Kermit the Frog as Robin Hood. He's already green. I mean, it's perfect. But but the problem is we associate that already with too many other things. But maybe that would be a bad one to do.
Same thing with Peter Pan. That's associated with Disney now, even though that was a huge classic book way before.
You know what? Though, I'm
Disney.
going to make that my answer because Peter Pan is more associated with Disney. Like Disney has a Robin Hood, but we've done so many Robin Hoods. I don't think people necessarily immediately go there, and that's one of the kind of lesser Disney movies to people. Like I like it; it's fine, but I don't. It's not in a lot of people's top 5, and it's in my mom. It's in my wife's top 5. She loves that movie, but
that makes sense. She likes Robin Hood.
Well, I was like, well, my mom also likes that movie, but that's Sarah's favorite Disney movie.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's the people who love it really, really love it. Speaking of Peter Pan, I just watched Wendy on HBO Max, and I loved it. It's like a modern telling of the Peter Pan story.
Oh, is that actually good?
Really went to some weird places that I was not expecting. I really enjoyed it, but I love that story anyway.
So there's some great stuff in the chat here. My favorite is Daniel Davis, the Muppets War of the Worlds. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, you can do some fun classic sci-fi and horror stuff. Like, yeah, it would be neat to do like a Muppets Frankenstein, or I don't even know how you do that. I mean, I'd love to see that attempted. Or a Muppets, I don't know, something melancholy, something macabre, like Invisible Man or.
Yeah. Someone says the Muppet. James Egan says the Muppets Great Gatsby, which is hilarious. That would be a really dark Muppets movie.
The Muppets, the founder? Oh, God.
Muppets RoboCop, says Professor Doom.
But that's not a book, so that doesn't count.
Muppets Sleepy Hollow is a good one, cinematographic.
Yeah, who would have a pumpkin for a head?
Well, that's actually the Disney version, but I guess that it probably would be.
Oh, that's true. We don't always do that. Okay, who would be missing a head, though?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar. I'm not actually that familiar with the Muppets. I've never even seen them except for Christmas Carol, which I watched this year for the first time.
Oh, you've got to see the original Muppet movie.
I'm down. That's one of the commentaries that
I've said that to you before. Oh yeah, we've talked about that. And that's, I think all the Muppet movies are on Disney Plus right now, so that would be easier for us to do. But To Kill a Muppet?
To Kill a Muppet is the best answer ever. How in the world would you do To Kill a Muppet?
Muppet's Death of Superman! And of course, that would be the first time we finally did it well. If you did Muppet's Death of Superman, though, I think the best way to do that would actually be to cross it back with Sesame Street, and I don't think you can do that anymore because of HBO. But, like, yeah, you could have Kermit be Superman and kill him, and then have 4 Kermits that come back, but it would be much better to do it with Grover. The Death of Super Grover. That's how you do that. You make it a Sesame Street thing before you make it a Muppets thing.
The Death of Super Grover. Grover's my favorite Sesame Street character, so I would love that.
I'm all over that. Oh, Hawkflame just said what I said. Death of Super Grover. It writes itself. It's obvious. Like, you have to do it that way. I love that so much. I almost want to write it now.
And then Superman Red and Blue. I mean, how many? You got tons of options.
Yeah.
Can I get a rant out of the way, by the way? Why do we always advertise Cookie Monster these days as like a light cyan blue character when he's dark blue?
I don't know.
Does that not drive you nuts? Any merchandise with him as pictured, he's light blue. But he's just not. Like, we never changed him. He's still dark blue. It's like they didn't want him to be too close to Grover, so they just changed him.
I think that's exactly why they did that. We have, like, in my house, because all of my kids loved Cookie Monster, and Mikey especially does. And so every Christmas without fail, well, almost without fail, somebody gives us a stuffed Cookie Monster. We have like 6 or 7 stuffed Cookie Monsters, and yeah, they're all that color.
Yeah, my son has PJs with light blue. I have swimming trunks actually with light blue Cookie
Part
Monster.
of that is because at least 3 of them are the exact same doll, but yeah. Anime 2021, who would be Doomsday? What's the you don't know Muppets. I can't remember his name. Somebody help me out. Who's the big Muppet, the big giant monster guy with a huge mouth that you could almost like put a person in, who's running after the Muppets through the Muppet movie where he's working at the car dealership, and then he runs after them, and he wants to be rich and famous along with them. I can't remember his name, but that's probably you do him, but you put bones on him. Although I would think that would be one of those things where you would just make up a new Muppet. Probably you just do a Doomsday Muppet.
Doomsday Muppet. Are you talking about Sweetums?
That's him. Yeah, you make him Doomsday.
Just Googled Muppet. I think
yeah, thanks,
giant
Jen.
Muppet.
Yeah, everybody's throwing Sweetums at me now. I never can remember his name.
Yeah, it's an ironic name because he's a big guy. He's Sweetums.
And I would make Lex Luthor in that story, and I would make it closer to Death of Superman, where Lex is not all that involved, but I would make Lex Luthor in that story animal, because that would be amazing.
All right, well, I think we've thoroughly exhausted that question.
Oh, now that's all I want to talk about that, though. It's amazing. Hey, DJ, would you take the show for a couple minutes, see if there's anything,
sure.
Maybe just for you, or folks, ask DJ a couple things for me. I'm sorry, I have to run off for just a minute, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure, no problem. All right, guys. The captain has flown the coop. The moderator is in charge. Let me look back through these pre-writtens and see if there's anything that I would be interested to answer that I don't want to leave Cap out on, though. I want to ask your questions to him. Ask me anything in the chat if you feel like it. They'll probably come in as soon as he gets back. I saw somebody asking about Scarlet Witch's costume in the finale of WandaVision, and I liked it a lot. I think it looked pretty cool. I don't know what Cap's feelings are. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the WandaVision spoiler cast, but if I don't, there's my thoughts on it. I do like the costume. DJ, how do we get you to like Batman? Like Batman? I don't know, man. I just haven't read that much stuff. Like, I love Batman Begins. That's one of my favorite superhero movies. I just haven't got into the character that much. I haven't seen any of the animated series. I did actually watch The Batman growing up on WB on Saturdays. So I do like that show. DGMC, give us some beard advice, DJ. Well, I'm not the person to give you any kind of beard advice because I cannot grow a beard at all. This is the most I can do. It's been like weeks, and this is all I got. It doesn't grow in. I have a baby face. Mostly, I think it's because of my Native American heritage. That's why I grow weird beards. Like, I can't really connect it right here. But nobody cares about this except for DGMC. Hey, DJ, favorite novel? Good grief. Daniel Davis, always with the doozy questions. That is a very tough question. I'll have to get back to you on that. Favorite novel? I do have a list of favorites on my phone, but I don't want to take the time to check it right now. What is your favorite martial arts style to watch and to do? Rohit Tahar, thanks for the question. Capoeira is awesome. Everybody check out Capoeira. Mostly what I do these days is just tricking. I don't actually practice. Well, I still do Taekwondo sometimes, but yeah, most of tricking comes from Capoeira, which is an awesome Brazilian, I think, fighting style that incorporates, like, it's kind of like a dance fighting style. It's really cool. A lot of groundwork, a lot of acrobatics, which I love. I don't know why Ryder is calling me daddy again in the comments. It's making me uncomfortable. Mutali, would you watch Batman Brave and the Bold? Yeah, I think I would. I've seen some things. I'm not really a campy guy, though, and I think it's closer to, like, campy Batman, if I know it right. So I don't know. I'll try it. I'm willing to try anything. I can't tell you if I would love it or not. DJ, who would you want to talk to first? Andrew Garfield, Emilia Clarke, or Henry Cavill? Andrew Garfield. Easy. Hands down. 100%. Coolest dude. Best actor of the three, and he's the best Spider-Man. Blue Dragons 5 says this is Beard Mark 1. That is correct. Maybe someday I'll be able to grow a Mark 2 or 3. DJ Forever Young. I don't know, man. I'm getting up there. I'm 29 now. I'm not as young as I used to be. I couldn't be cast as a high schooler in Spider-Man Homecoming anymore like I did a couple of years ago. That's not going to happen. Mr. Roboto. Whoa. Okay, I don't think I can fulfill this super chat. Mr. Roboto says, gave us $2. How about you sing the Avengers Earth Mightiest Hero theme, DJ? Please. I don't think I can do that. I don't know the lyrics to that right away. It's like something fight as one. Oh, I can't remember. I haven't watched that in forever. I watched one episode on the 24-hour stream with Cap, and it was a lot of fun, but I need to get back to that show. But thanks for the super chat. That's really cool. I'll have to get back to you on that. DJ, do you own any other comic omnibus? Thanks, Wooly. I do. I own 3 of the big, beautiful hardcover of the IDW Turtles, which are awesome, and I want to get all of them, but there's like 20 of them, and they're so expensive. But I have 3 of those. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have any other big ones. I don't have too many comics. I usually just have trades, paperback versions. DJ, what sitcom era of WandaVision would you want to live in? Live in? I'm a simple guy. Probably like, I don't know. You guys know that The Office is my favorite show, but they didn't go an Office route for the 2000s. They went with Modern Family. And I don't really like Modern Family, so I don't think I'd want to live in that one. So probably maybe the 60s. Simpler time. At least in television. I like the 60s. I like the wholesomeness of it. Goodness, these comments. These are After Dark questions, guys. I can't answer these. Do you spam buttons while playing as Eddie Gordo in Tekken, DJ? No! Eddie Gordo is the one character I'm actually good with in Tekken. He's the only one I don't have to spam buttons. I can actually do a lot of cool things with him. He's the best. Yes, Eddie Gordo. Christy, if you don't have Eddie Gordo unlocked yet on Tekken 4, but Eddie Gordo, once you unlock him, is the best. Also, Beast, if anyone's played the X-Men Next Dimension game, I think that's what it's called, for GameCube, awesome. And Beast is pretty much Eddie Gordo in that game. He does like a lot of handstands and flares and all kinds of cool stuff. Anyone here? Am I the only person that plays X-Men Next Dimension? Because I used to love that game. Lots of X-Men characters you could play as in that game. Beast was my guy. Jedi Knight, if you had to... Oh, he's back.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that episode of the DJ Martinez show.
No, it was great. They were throwing a lot of stuff at me.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for keeping it going. I sure appreciate it. So what are we talking about, man?
Oh, man, we've been talking about all kinds of things. Batman, X-Men games. What decade from WandaVision would you like to live in? Favorite novels, other comics that I own, all kinds of stuff.
Good Lord, it's a rapid fire show for the 5 minutes I was gone.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
They were firing them out. Yeah, they come to play whenever you leave. It's like they wake up when you leave and they just start throwing stuff at me.
I was expecting, the couple times we've done that, I was expecting to be like, oh, we weren't talking about you behind your back. No. And I'm like, you realize that it's recorded and I can go back and listen to it later.
That's true. Sorry, guys. He's on to us.
Anime, don't forget to swim on camera. It's still happening. They're still talking about it.
Anime's not going to let it die. Also, Mr. Roboto gave a $2 super chat that I am unable to fulfill, unfortunately. He asked me to sing the Avengers Earth Mightiest Hero theme. I was like, I don't think I can do that offhand. I don't have that memorized. Nor would I probably.
I don't either. Yeah. Well, like, I would if I knew it, and I don't.
It's like Forever Fight as One, something. Yeah, it's a very like early 2000s rock song. But sorry, man. We appreciate the super.
I guess the lyrics are kind of anime-esque, but the song itself isn't really.
I don't think so, no. But yeah, it's a good song. It doesn't really have much to do with the Avengers, but I like it. Let's see. DGMC thoughts. This $5 super chat. Thoughts on Oscar Isaac as Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid film. Also, how faithful should video game / comic book adaptations be in your opinion?
Yeah, that's the thing we've talked about ad nauseum throughout the years. I'll try to give a real succinct answer. So as far as the Solid Snake thing goes, I don't have a dog in that fight. That's not a game series that I know anything about and have ever played. I think it's interesting that he's getting... and that he seems to be getting so many roles all of a sudden. But I know some people don't like that choice. I just don't know enough about it to know. I should talk to Eric about that because, of course, he's a big fan of that series, and people for a while were trying to get me to play it, and I just never have, and it does not seem like my thing. But I haven't talked to him about that, so I'm not sure what he thinks. So sorry, I don't have an opinion about it yet. I would have to see him in the role. As far as faith, how faithful you should be with adaptations, it's a different answer kind of for me with video games maybe than it is with comics, and of course it's a depends question across the board. With video games, we tend to, I guess this isn't wholly true. I was gonna say we tend to adapt stories more with video games than just concepts like we tend to do a lot for comic stuff, where with a comic book movie very often we'll take bits here and there from different stories, but we don't do as many direct adaptations. I don't even know if I'm right about that with video games. Maybe we do the same thing more often. But I guess I'm just thinking of more things that have been announced that are coming and stuff. Where we're starting to do games that people are wondering why we're even bothering. Like that, what is that, DJ? What is that zombie game that's getting a TV series that they're basically just directly adapting? I don't know why I can't think of that right off.
Last of Us?
Last of Us, that's it, yeah. And a lot of people were immediately like, I don't really know what the point of that is. It's so story-driven in the first place. Yeah, you're playing it, but I guess it would... Like, is it just for people that didn't play the games? But then the people that are most going to care about that are the people that played the games, right? So I said my answer is maybe different between them. I would think that with comics, very often it would be a really good idea to translate a story more or less wholesale when you can. If it's part of a greater universe or a shared universe, that can be harder because there's very often things that are already pre-established in your world that make it impossible to use the comics as a storyboard and go directly from comics to screen. Like if you wanted to forget BVS, if you wanted to adapt Death of Superman, for instance, we were talking about that earlier, right now you couldn't do it right away. Nobody's going to care about fire and ice, a certain character, having Lex 2 with his big long red mane, who may or may not have a Australian accent. You're not really going to get away with that. You're going to want to adapt it, even if it's the first thing even if this is the thing you started with. The sensibilities of that are so 90s. There are changes you would have to make. With video games, I would think that, especially when you're going with story-driven video games, it really depends on the kind of game. If you're making a Mario or something, you have to bring the substance in the first place, because a lot of those kinds of games, your Marios and your Sonics to some degree, don't have a whole lot of real characterization in the first place. They don't have characters with character dimension that are already fully formulated. You have to kind of make up something in the first place, which is why doing a really good Mario movie excites me, because I have no idea what that looks like. You can kind of create that character from the ground up. He's got to be plucky and positive, but that's about it. Like, what is that guy about besides saving his girlfriend? I don't know. That was the point of those games, is that you can kind of bring anything from yourself to it. It's supposed to be kind of like playing with action figures. But with something that is story-driven, which is more often what we've been making video games out of, I would think that you would want to kind of go your own way and not do as much adaptation, because you're basically taking a movie that you play and turning it into a movie that you don't play. Whereas with a comic to a movie, you're talking about two much different mediums in the first place. You're talking about the flat 2D plane with words versus a moving 3D plane. So I would think that you would want to do more straight adaptation depending on the property that we're talking about when you go from comics to screen. I guess it's impossible for me to be succinct with that, and I could keep going, but I'm not going to. So what else we got, DJ?
I just want to say real quick, Anime 2021, while you were gone, said, I want to see an episode where DJ's the host and Cap is the moderator and graphic designer.
I'll do half that. I'll happily do half that job. Or I'll have my son Jason make the image, and then I'll take credit for it.
Yeah, that works.
Anime 2021 just put in a question I want to answer real quick, because we were doing the Muppet Death of Superman thing. Could Muppet Death of Superman work as a Disney Plus special? No, because they don't own Superman. Unless I guess if you made it a parody, like if it was a straight up parody, it wasn't called, they didn't have Superman in the title, I guess you could.
Yeah, you can you can get Superman's like generic enough that I think you could get away with just doing the Supergrover thing and it just being a parody of Superman.
Well, that's true.
Maybe.
But again, they can't do Supergrover because they don't own Sesame Street.
That's true. Everything's splintered, as we talked about earlier today in our Paramount Plus video.
Everything's splintered, ironically, except for Ninja Turtles, which has a character named Splinter in it, and it's all under one house, under one roof. It's all in one house now.
Finally. CM Productions, $5. Pitch your ideas for a Superman/Tick crossover. Take my $5.
God, I happily, and then hopefully I don't disappoint you with my answer. Wow, what do you do with a Superman Tick crossover? I mean, it would be fun. I was gonna say it would be fun maybe to see Tick fighting some of Superman's villains, but I actually like Tick's Rogues Gallery better than I like Superman's. I think to some degree, maybe Superman filling in for the Tick is what you do with that. I don't know that Superman and the Tick together is all that interesting. Right, because you basically have a kind of quirky, sometimes blundering dunderhead, depending on what version we're doing and who's writing. But just a very strange character who doesn't know his own past, but is very heroic, but kind of answers every problem with brute force. And then you've got Superman, who also uses his strength and uses brute force, but he also has a brain usually. We do stories where it's like, the difference between Batman and Superman is that Batman uses his head. And I'm like, but Superman is in his day job, is an investigative reporter. So how much sense does that make? But anyway, I digress. So I don't know that there would be that much of an interesting... I don't know if it would be that interesting to put those characters together, like what the dynamic would be between them, unless you did also a jokier Superman. Maybe if you took the animated Tick and put it with Fleischer Superman, that could be interesting, or that could be funny, because it would just be the Tick constantly talking and Fleischer Superman just solving problems and never saying anything.
I think it would be almost more interesting to see Arthur with Superman as that dynamic where he's looking up to the hero and he's trying to be kind of like that episode of TMNT where Silver Sentry comes in, which is Michelangelo's big hero that he loves, and he goes on an adventure with him and he's screwing things up and trying to help and stuff.
That's a great point, and it could be one of those stories where Arthur is simultaneously feeling like he's missing a lot in not working with a more competent hero. And in a hero that just has his head on his shoulders and makes sense, but also somehow through that adventure comes to appreciate why he's the right fit for the Tick and not somebody like Superman. But we did a story similar to that in the animated series called what's on the tip of my tongue, but it's the Tick versus Europe, where they do a superhero, or they do a sidekick exchange program, and the Arthur gets, or actually I guess it's a superhero exchange program, so the sidekicks stay put, but the superheroes from different countries leave town, and so Arthur gets Eclair, who has lightning powers, and she's this big lady superhero who's got who's got lightning vision, and she's basically Superman for Belgium, and then and then Belgium gets the Tick, and Eclair's sidekick is also named Eclair, and it's great. I'm sorry, her name is Blitzen. And then he's like the reindeer, and she's like, no, it means lightning. He's like, how many words for lightning do you people have? Or how many languages do you people have? Yeah, it's great. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, we sort of did that story in that show, now I'm thinking about it.
Oh, cool. Ryder, $2 super chat. Quick thoughts on Scarlet Witch's costume?
I think it's fine. It's predictable. It's kind of what I would expect the MCU to do with it.
Yeah, I liked it. It's definitely MCU-ified. It's like we always do with red characters, like the Daredevil thing. We have to make it a dark maroonish purple instead of...
It's not Scarlet.
Instead of bright red, yeah. I don't know why we never...
It doesn't look like a witch costume to me. It's too superhero-y.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that's... Yeah, because they make a big deal of, you're the Scarlet Witch, and then the costume comes from that whole spell thing, but then it's just Yeah, it's more superhero.
And I
I
just
don't
think
know.
it's a mistake to make it look that. I guess I don't love it. Like that's kind of what I figured they do, but I don't care for it that much. Like you're drawing too much attention to, I don't know, like. You're drawing too much attention to what I want it to look like when you have the Halloween costume version, like from the comics. Because I know they're not going to go straight up comic book, but it is very strange that because like that image has to come from somewhere, and then that translates to like leather looking suit. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks very Magneto-esque from the Singer movies.
That's
the
true.
Singer
It
movies.
does. But yeah, it's not terrible or anything. At the very least, I would change the color.
Yeah. All right. A mediocre costume review from us. William Kelton, the Muppets.
Got that out of the way. I guess we don't have to talk about it on Sunday now.
Yeah.
But we will.
Philip Kelton says the Muppets Animal Farm, which I don't know if he put that in before we said
did.
it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mentioned it. I said Muppets Animal Farm, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be super dark. I don't know if they would kill Muppets. Probably not. I'm sure they would find a way to do that story a little less bleak and terrible. But yeah, Mr. Roboto, $2 idea: Geekvolution Onslaught series. What of Capzaro? What of Capzaro?
I guess I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that last part means, but Onslaught.
What does he mean by an Onslaught series? Like something having to do with the X-Men Onslaught?
I don't know if he's talking about you reviewing Onslaught or you like doing like like a Spawn Year type Onslaught scripted thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he meant to say like War of Caps. I don't know. Sorry, Mr. Roboto. It's just another super chat. I don't fully understand.
Yeah, War of Capzaro. I don't know. But thanks, man. Thanks for the $2 super chat. He did give us another one right after that. Kids don't love the Muppets. They learn to love them. Oh, interesting.
What all I meant was the Muppets have not been
taste?
popular in the current children's lifetime. So it's not going to be on their radar like it was when I was a kid.
Oh, War of Capzaro as in Bizarro is what Blue Dragon 5 says.
Okay, but I mean, I still don't know what that means. Like,
Maniac
I'm
Madness.
just talking about a silly video we could make. Like, I don't know. Anyway,
Thoughts on the first 3 episodes of Power Rangers Dino Fury for Maniac Madness 11?
well, I don't have thoughts on the first 3 episodes because I only saw the pilot, and so I haven't even seen.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I watched the first episode, but I haven't gotten around to any of the rest of it, and it was generic. I mean, like it's fine. It was kind of what we expected, honestly.
Back to the Samurai and Megaforce days.
Kind of. I mean, I think the character writing is a little bit better than that. It's a little less. It's a little less of that level of sap, I guess. But just I don't know. The premise didn't really excite me. The new actors were fine. They've got when they get into their lair, their alpha is like a walking dinosaur. He's like a dinosaur girl. I can't remember if she's like a triceratops or what. This show's not sticking with me, man. I watched it real quick right after it aired, and I've quickly forgotten it. But she was surprisingly not annoying, which I appreciated. But yeah, it was just kind of there. I don't know. I can't get excited about it. I don't know that I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's hard to get into Power Rangers these days. TH1, $10. Oh man, $10 super chat. All right.
What's up?
Kip ups are cool. YouTube has been suggesting a lot of your old skits.
Oh, interesting.
Great job.
That's cool.
Great job on No Scrolls and Go the After Church. Any plans for more skits and or parodies? You rock. Favorite thing you watched in the past year?
I love doing stuff like that. I just do them when they come to me and when I have the means. Luckily, somebody had put up a backing track for that because I'm not a musician. I don't write music. I certainly can't recreate a track myself, and I would have to hire somebody to do that when I want to do a parody. So if there's a good karaoke track and I can get away with it and I won't get blocked, I'll go ahead and post it. Or I'll go ahead and make the track. So that was lucky that was there for No Scrolls. That was a lot of fun to make. That was the thing I did for Austin, because for a long time he had been, I say a long time, the last couple months he's been telling me about that idea, and I thought it was hilarious. And then when I watched Captain Marvel again, I was like, oh, okay, now I'm remembering some things about the Skrulls, because that's not a race I know real well. And then I just went and did 10 minutes of cursory research, and looked real closely at that TLC song and wrote that. And I hadn't even intended on really making it a video to post. I was just going to perform it on the Captain Marvel commentary. And I'm really glad that I did that produced version, because DJ, because of where I had my music that night, I had it coming out of my speaker back here instead of in my headphones. And so that got me behind the beat, and it didn't come out great. So I'm really glad that I posted it outside of that commentary.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't hear that version.
So yeah, people enjoyed it and were really happy with it. But I went back and listened to part of it later, and I cringed because I was like, oh, I'm like a half step behind the beat, and yeah, so that wasn't great. But or I guess I should not half step, a half beat behind the beat. But for part of that. But anyway, so yeah, the answer to that is when something comes to me and I have the means, I'll make that. But yeah, thanks for the compliment, man. I appreciate it.
And then the end of that was favorite thing you watched in the past year.
Oh yeah. God, I'd have to go back and kind of wrap my brain about things that actually came out in the last year, because the thing I really enjoyed about 2020 was not having to watch new things.
Yeah, I don't know if he means it had to come out in 2020 or just something you watched in the last year.
Things you actually looked at, yeah. Man, I don't watch a lot that I don't review is the thing. Like most of what, even during this period, like most of what I've looked at, you guys have heard me talk about. And if I really like something, I tend to make a video about it. So I can't think of anything that I didn't talk about. But even if stuff I did, like, I don't know, what things that I actually watch, like, as far as like, requested movies and stuff go, I mean, like, I'm gonna be redundant because I've said this in these videos, but like Hacksaw Ridge I was really impressed with. I liked that a lot. And then I just had to do The Social Network, which I really, really loved. So that would definitely be up there. Those are a couple of
the 2020 was the year of Andrew Garfield for Cap.
It was, yeah.
You got to check out 99 Homes. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
But as far as things that actually released, I mean, I didn't see a lot.
Yeah, I didn't see any. I have like 5 movies on my 2020 list. I threw out Wendy earlier that came out last year. I also really liked Emma last year. I don't know if anyone in this audience cares about Emma, but Anya Taylor-Joy playing that was just a delightful movie. Came out in 2020.
I guess I'd say Superman Man of Tomorrow, because that was just a few months ago, and I adored that. And I've seen it again since then, and it's great. I really like the second season of Mandalorian. We've not gotten around to doing a review of that. I don't know if that'll happen now, but I did really like that.
Oh, that's true. It doesn't have to be a movie, I guess. We were just thinking movies. Game Station 3, $5. Why are you doing a blind commentary for the Snyder Cut? Why not watch it first and then do a commentary?
Because we thought it would be fun to get our reactions on camera for anybody that wants to watch it with us. So it's not a commentary. We'll see how much talking actually happens during it. The plan is not to talk over it. The plan is to watch it with everybody that wants to watch it with us. And then we're going to do like I said, a spoiler cast that Sunday. So eventually I'm sure there will be an actual commentary. Like we will watch it and then do a commentary. That's not what this is.
Yeah. A commentary on that movie. We're going to need a lot of water, maybe an intermission.
Possibly beer. Yeah. But no, don't worry, man. Like, there will probably at some point be an actual commentary on that movie. And yeah, if you don't like the blind watch thing, then, feel free to miss that. Like, you don't have to watch it with us. And like I said, that won't necessarily be a product. It might just be kind of a party. And if that's the case, I won't leave it up. It'll just be for everybody that was there.
Yeah, just a watch party. It's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna leave that up in the air for now, because if it's because I don't know, like if it's amusing enough, whatever our reactions to that end up being, then that's what we'll do. But yeah.
Philip Kelton. The thing with video game movie adaptations is you first need to deconstruct what the narrative of the game beyond the superficial charm.
depends on the game, right? There's a lot of video games that are as narrative driven as they are gameplay driven, so there wouldn't be any deconstruction you would need to do. It would just be a narrative. Right? So yeah, I mean, when you're talking about something that is more, and again, case by case, right? I always talk about this. Video games are very often trying to do two things simultaneously that are very, very difficult to balance. So you have to, if it's narrative driven, it has to be a fun game. It has to be fun to play, and that has to be paced a certain way. But then it also has to be, a compelling story at the same time, and those two things don't always go together and can be at loggerheads. It's really difficult to accomplish both of those things, especially if they're both equally important, like they are for something like, the Arkham games, or from what I've been told, like a BioShock or something. And so you're right, like sometimes very often in fact the superficial charm, as you call it, can get you through a game that has a really crappy story. Those would be some of the games that I would say would be most worth adapting, are games that had a really good initial premise, and like a neat conceit that you could easily mine a great story out of, but the story itself was kind of lame or just didn't really gel, didn't really come together, and was just especially things that are just a cookie cutter narrative to make the gameplay happen. But even if it's not that and it's just a poorly told story, that could be a thing that is worth adapting. When it manages both, that's when I think it's probably a little more pointless to make it into a movie. It would be harder to sell me.
Mr. Roboto, $2 super chat. Did the current Geekvolution V series end, or is it ongoing? V series. You're talking about the BBS series that has ended.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he means by V series.
Geekvolution V series.
The BVS review is done.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Mr. Roboto, you're gonna have to be a little more specific in your super chats, man. Like, just very often, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Yeah, you can clarify. I can read in the chat if you need to clarify.
Yeah, don't feel the need to put in more super chats for clarification. But I'm sorry, buddy. Like, I don't know what that means.
But yeah, we really appreciate the donations, though. Cinematographic. This is a pre-written. I'm going to jump back to these. Cap, I would have thought and this is kind of, I'm just going to ask a generic question for this, but I would have thought Chloe Bennett would have been cast as Buttercup, if not playing her, possibly voicing the character. Do you agree? Yes, no, maybe? So just thoughts on the casting. Did you see the casting they did for
briefly, like I saw that they were cast and I didn't recognize the actors. Apparently one of them is Quake from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it didn't look like her. I didn't realize that's who that was supposed to be. Or that's who that is. So I had to go back and look at that again. Is that really, that's who that is? Okay. The other two I didn't recognize at all. I don't know who you're talking about. Who is Chloe Bennett? Is that what he's? I don't know who that is.
Right. Yeah, I don't know who that is either. Sorry, I'm clicking. But yeah, I did see that. I was like, wow, Quake's in something else.
Okay, so Mr. Roboto video series. Okay, what series? Like when you say did the current Geekvolution video series end? I don't. We have lots of series. I just don't know what you mean. That is Chloe Bennett. That is who that is. Okay.
He was saying she should have been Buttercup instead of Blossom.
I don't know if I agree with that, actually. I would think you would want somebody a little gruffer for Buttercup. Yeah, I don't immediately agree with that. I think actually she makes sense for Blossom if you have to do the live action thing.
Which you don't, yeah, but
which you don't, and I'm not excited about that, and I'm really concerned about it, and that should not be a thing. But man, if we live in a world where they stick the landing, and I love that show,
that would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Well, I didn't expect to like the Superman show either, but I don't think HBO Max is fitting the bill for this. So
yeah, I mean, the casting looks good. I can't believe I'm saying that because I don't understand why you're doing this in live action, but they look good. I'm looking at the 3 pictures right now.
I mean, Professor Zoom had a good point that he retracted, but he posted it, so I'm still going to say it. He said it's weird because they're sisters, but they look nothing alike.
Well, yeah.
You can get around that by the fact that they're genetically created, right? I say genetically. It's sugar, spice, and everything nice. I don't know how realistic or not the show is going to be. I want it to have an ultra absurdist component, of course, and I want it to be a comedy, and I'm really worried it won't be that, judging by things like Riverdale. But like if that's a really moody, broody Powerpuff Girls series, that's very strange, especially with that name. Like at least Riverdale sounds more ominous on its own without knowing anything about Archie, right? But I've not seen that show, but I've just heard things about that, and that it's a murder mystery thing, and it's got horror components like Smallville did, but maybe more so. If this is that, I don't know. That's not what I want, but I don't want this anyway. But yeah, I mean, like in a perfect world, they would all look the same, but have just like superficial differences. That's what they are in the original.
Just have one girl play all three. Do like a.
Oh, Professor, he took his comment out because he said I meant triplets. Yeah, yeah, they are, but because of the way they're created, I guess it's easier to get away with making them look different.
Yeah. Hey, Connor, just popped in. All right, Blue Dragon 5. Cap, what would your pitch be for a sci-fi crime procedural?
I'm sorry, who is that?
Blue Dragon 5.
Oh, hi, Blue Dragon 5. A sci-fi crime procedural? So I was curious about this, and I didn't actually get around to watching it while it was on, and then it got canceled. But there was a Minority Report show for a while, which is a neat idea to do on a weekly basis, and that's the kind of thing I would have wanted, having not actually seen that show. But I would have said something like that, like Minority Report.
Cool. Super Billy just put in a $5 super chat.
Real quick before you get to that, Mr. Roboto was talking about Capfall, about the Nightfall series. So the deal with that is just not enough time in my day and not enough interest. I feel bad about it. I was really gung ho about that. I was getting it back off the ground. We were rolling. We posted I think 7 episodes. But the folks that were watching it seemed to really like it, but I could not make that the main thing I was doing. Like it was taking up so much of my time, and I cut a lot of corners trying to make it an easier thing to sneak in. But and I guess I could have put it out less often and done it over 2 or 3 years, but for lots of reasons I just decided that didn't make sense. Getting into this year, I had to be a lot more strategic and smart about how I'm using my time. Sarah and I have a 4th child on the way now, and I'm going to be even busier with family stuff, of course, and I realized that as much fun as I'm still having making stuff for the channel and doing these live shows with you guys and doing reviews when I get to them, I was to a place where the thing I really wanted to get back to the bread and butter for the channel was Superhero Rewind, and I know that that's true for the majority of our audience as well. And full disclosure, I was burnt out on that show for the longest time, and I wanted to be putting them out more often, but it was one of those things where I wanted them to exist, but I didn't want to do them. I was having a difficult time getting myself motivated, and some of that had to do with I'll try not to take too long with this. Some of that had to do with my not being satisfied with the format, with for a while not being able to use stills, and then when I brought that back with a new format, I was happy with what those looked like, but they took too much time to make. I couldn't get more than 1 or 2 out a month, and I wasn't liking that. I still, I've always said that I want to review every superhero movie ever made. I've never lost to that. I'm 12 years into this, and that's still the goal. That's still what I really want to do. And I have too many goals. I have too many projects, too many things I really want to do, and so I don't like not finishing things. But I realized that my priority has got to be that show, because above anything else, I want to someday be able to say that, at least up to a point, I reviewed every superhero movie ever made. I want to be able to say that. I don't know why. I still care about that. I've had that forever. And the show's gotten longer, and it's become more in-depth, and it's more challenging to get them out. But it is the thing that, besides a couple of more singular projects, like the documentary and like Spawn Year, is the thing I'm proudest of. And I've come to terms with the podcast format. And once I got comfortable with it's a podcast, there's actually a podcast platform I can put it on, and it's on Spotify now, and I really like Spotify, and I always wanted it there. I got a lot more excited about that show, and I went, if I can work in Batcap or Capfall, rather, while I'm doing that, I will get to it and get it in, but there's not anything like as much interest for that. And the off-the-cuff thing was okay, but I wasn't super happy with how it was turning out. It was too long-winded. They were taking forever to edit, even doing the stills. What am I trying to say? The comic art inside the video in the first place. Like the way I was editing those is, and you can probably tell just watching the videos. I was recording the comic pages while I was reviewing, and so part of that work is done for you already, but I did a 2-camera setup, and that made it take forever, and so I liked what it looked like, but I wasn't real happy with the pacing of it and how long they were taking to watch, and I don't know, like I would have kept like whittling away at that and trying to make that a little bit better, but there just wasn't ultimately enough interest in it. But there is interest in my talking about Nightfall, just not issue to issue and page by page like I was doing. So my goals are more actually review Nightfall as opposed to do another narrative series, and I hate that because I had a really cool ending for it, and it was going to be a really neat story. But the other thing I gotta say, full disclosure, is I was also seeing the writing on the wall, because that show could not have an actual ending. It had to be on a cliffhanger, and the third show I was going to make is not a thing I think I could have made myself commit to. There's only one thing that made sense to do after that, and I don't know if I would have ever found the time to do it. And I don't know, man. I got to a place where I had to start making like real serious choices, and it's paid off so far, as far as channel interest and just my own interest. Like, I'm really happy with what I'm doing right now, and I enjoyed making that show. And if that was the only thing I was doing, and the number of people that were watching Rewind watched that show, or half of it even, I would have been pretty okay with that. But it was a tiny fraction of the audience, and I'm disappointing everybody else, while I'm not real sure if I'm happy with it either. And that's the balance you always have to walk with that. So anyway, so that's where that's at. And the other thing is, I've got to do something with Smallville this year. It's the 20th anniversary. It's crazy not to do anything with that show, and we're three months into the year, and I haven't done anything with Smallville yet. And that is also a thing I have to prioritize.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think you made the right choice. I think people have been loving the turnout of superhero rewinds that you've had lately. Someone actually mentioned that earlier, that they've been loving it. So
well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
I think it's great.
I'm trying, and I can't promise that output forever necessarily, but it's what I'm working on. And the other thing that I should mention, just full disclosure, I'll be totally transparent about this. We also got to a place. DJ, do you think it would be terrible for me to mention this?
It depends on I don't know what you're about to say.
I'll just say it then. We plateaued for the first time in a decade as far as new subscribers go. We weren't drawing in any new audience at all, and it's always been slow growth. But one of the things that motivates me is just knowing that there's always new folks coming in, and that the channel continues to grow slowly but steadily. We lost that for a while, and I got nervous. It was like 4 months in a row of almost zero growth at all. And, obviously, it's not all about numbers. Like, I don't mean to make everything about an arbitrary set of numbers, but at the same time, it is a thing that motivates me, certainly. And I was like, okay, I'm seeing the writing on the wall. Like, at some point, we're going to plateau and maybe even start going backwards. And I guess this is my dad in me, but like I don't want to go backwards. I kind of take pride in the fact that we never have, and I was like, the only thing I can see like really drumming up a new audience is to do what a lot of people wish I'd always done, which was prioritize Rewind, put it up front. Some people kind of didn't want me to do much else besides Rewind. I like making other shows. I'm probably never going to get to a place where that's all I do, unless I just get so busy that for a while I need to just take off from everything else, but maybe still make that show. And I went, okay, let's test it. let's see if that's the problem. And lo and behold, it was. We've been back to weekly rewinds for what, 8 straight weeks, 10 straight weeks. And yeah, 4 of those is BVS, but every one of those videos, besides the first one, is longer than any rewind I had ever made before. And we're back to the growth that we used to have. Our monthly subscriber growth is back to where it was a year ago. And the podcast is picking up some steam slowly but surely as well, on podcast sites. And so I don't know, man. That's what I really want to be doing. And I have found myself, it's work, but I found myself much more relaxed, having the routine of doing that and putting everything else secondary to it.
Yeah, it's all about.
I said I wouldn't talk too long about this. I apologize.
Well, if I can, it's all about finding that balance between doing enough shows that you don't get burnt out on Superhero Rewind, but also not spreading yourself so thin on too many shows that you don't lose, that you can't get to the mainstays that people love. And me and you had some conversations about Superhero Rewind at the beginning of the year, or at the end of last year, actually, that was actually the same conversation you told me that you're having a 4th kid.
That's right.
We talked a lot about Superhero Rewind, and I think it went to a good place. I think it's doing well right now.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
Anyway. Super Billy, $5. Boy, that WandaVision finale was something. I can't even begin to describe how I'm feeling right now. Conflicted and confused. Just don't cut it.
That's where I'm at, yeah. If you ask me right now, gun to my head, did they stick the landing? Yeah, I need to see it a second time.
Interesting. I'm hoping you like it when you watch it as a piece more. I was very satisfied with it, but I, as you know, never get into like the speculation game, or like I don't like to know anything. That's why I don't watch trailers. So I know a lot of people were really loving and enjoyed the speculation with that kind of stuff and see where it could go. But I kind of just I wanted a much smaller piece that was more intimate, with Wanda and Vision, and I got that in the finale, so I was really satisfied. But
yeah, and that's cool. But even if that's all I was looking for, like I don't even know, man. Like I'm not even necessarily complaining that it didn't go big enough. I think people set their sights too high in where they were expecting all of that to go, and what it would mean for the future and all of that. I was not expecting it to go as big as other people were, so that wasn't a giant disappointment for me. Although there's a couple things that I do kind of wish they'd gone a little bit farther with. But beyond that, for me, it's kind of more just, I don't know if the gimmick and the conceit of it was as warranted as they made me believe that it would be. The big mystery was how come it's set up the way it is. Was like why is Wanda, and some of it was answered, but I don't know if it was answered satisfactory enough for my taste. Where it's like not just did Wanda create this world herself? That is ultimately answered. But why is it and I won't give major spoilers for anybody that hasn't finished it, but you guys probably all know the basic the concept of that show. Why is it a sitcom reality? But the bigger things are, how come she's broadcasting, and why does it and why is time speeding up, or why is it like every week it jumps ahead a decade, and her kids are growing up faster and all of that? Like, I don't understand what the end game would have been, and like the whole thing is subconscious, which makes it weirder. Like, she's there because she's in denial and wants to pretend like she has a perfect life. There's never a satisfactory explanation to me as to why it, besides just it's the gimmick of the show, it keeps jumping ahead decades as you go along. If the place had never been pulled down, would it have rolled over? Would she have gone back to the 50s? Like, I don't understand all of that. It ultimately did not add up to much. I don't know if I go as far as Eric, who called it the Abrams mystery box thing. I don't know if it's that bad, but I'm not sure how I feel about it until a second viewing.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is supposed to be Agnes interfering. I think I saw something that she was the one that made the kids get older. I can't remember, though, but hopefully some of that clears up on a second watch. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah. I am with you on some of that stuff. But I wasn't as high as some of the other people were in our community on the beginning part, so I guess I didn't have as far to fall. I kind of stayed same place. T-Edge1, $5. So Sci-Fi Channel has wrestling. Odd, right? Would it be less odd if WWE teamed up with the DC to make a meta brawl show for sci-fi? You're the best on YouTube. Yep, that'd be odd.
Yeah, it sure would. I don't know, Tom. I'm not really a wrestling guy, but I don't think it would be less odd. I think that would still be pretty strange. Or are you just saying like because it's the Sci-Fi Channel and wrestling doesn't have anything to do with sci-fi, you shove sci-fi things into it? Yeah, that might help, but it's not like that's the only network, and this has been going on for decades now. It's not like that's the only network that has material that has nothing to do with their initial theme. Like at the end of the day, it's about programming and getting people to watch so that they can sell you things with advertisers. So yeah, I don't know that I would have wanted. I don't watch broadcast TV anymore. I don't know that I would have wanted, even back in the day, things like that where it's like, imagine if Cartoon Network did that, where it's like, okay, it's a reality show but it's animated. Because Cartoon Network for a while did live action programming for, it was still supposed to be for children, but it was reality shows, just because they're cheaper to make. And it's like, but it's the Cartoon Network. Like, why? And it's because it sold, or at least they thought it would. I don't know how well that actually worked out for them. Eventually they quit doing that, and then they're back to just animation now. But it would be like that. It would be like, well, it's reality shows, but it's animated. Like, let's force Star Trek and Star Wars characters into wrestling. Anyway, all right, what else we got?
Logan Dodd put in a $4.99 super chat. According to IMDb, Supergirl and Lex will get new iterations in Superman and Lois. Thoughts?
Well, I don't want to give way too much, but some of that is already pretty clear, just from the first couple episodes. Somebody earlier, by the way, asked if I'm still liking that show, and I'll just say yes, absolutely. The third episode is also still pretty good. Man, it's just wonderful.
That's so great.
Got a good superhero show.
I might have to check it out.
I think you'll like it. I think you'll dig it.
Off on me.
I'm stoked about it. Yes, they need to do that to have that stand out. And I say they need to do that. It would be okay if Benoist came back if they wrote her right. The nice thing is they can do anything they want. I think they needed to wholesale do a different Lex. I do think that. But because of Crisis changing the universe at the end of that, and when we reviewed that, it was late at night, and it had been a while since I'd seen Crisis, and I had completely forgotten about that. I was like, it's interesting that this has no references really at all to the larger CW universe, and I think it might be contradicting some things, but I wasn't sure. And then some people piped up in the comments and were like, well, yeah, don't you remember they kind of cherry picked and changed some things at the end of Crisis? I was like, oh yes, that's right, because they merged some universes together. But DJ, they didn't do what Crisis does in the comics, because they were stuck with some shows that were still in the air that couldn't be set in that universe. So instead of making it all one universe like the original Crisis on Infinite Earths did, it's no longer Infinite Earths, but there's still a few of them. It's dumb. But anyway, so yeah, they had the license after that to really do anything they wanted to with it, and kind of treat this like its own thing, which is really nice. I had not heard that about Supergirl. I think that could be odd to bring in a different actress as her, but again, without giving away too much, there's already some precedent. So
yeah, I mean, do it. Separate that from the terrible CW verse.
OAW says they did do animated reality shows. I didn't know that. Is it Total Drama Island?
Couple people mentioned Total Drama Island. Is that an actual reality show, or is it like a scripted show that's about a reality show? I guess that would be the same thing if it was animated.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, you can't say anything that hasn't happened these days.
Exactly. I can't even make up a ridiculous desert island scenario. There are no more desert islands.
All right. We are out of Super Chats. That was the last one. So
thanks, guys.
Daniel Davis. Hey, Cap.
What we'll do now is we'll answer some pre-written for about 5 minutes, and feel free to throw in some more Super Chats. We've still got time. But if we don't see any more in about 5 minutes, we'll go ahead and answer one or two more and then close up shop. Go ahead, DJ.
All right. Daniel Davis. Hey, Cap. Did you see the leaked Snyder Cut footage that surfaced online last week? The scene with Wonder Woman actually looks kind of cool.
No, and I don't want to know anything about it, so please don't tell me too much.
There's a scene with Wonder Woman.
Nothing against you for asking that. I mean everybody. Just don't tell me anything. I am sick to death of Snyder posting about things and pimping his own movie so hard when nobody else involved in the project seems to be doing that. And that, the leaked footage is not his fault. But I am sick of him talking about it, and I've been trying to steer clear of all that because I don't want to know too much going in. That's part of the point of doing the watch party is, I want to be surprised by things and be able to, react on camera. And after, spending a month of my life doing almost nothing but talking about BVS, I thought it would be fun to do that. But anyway, so I didn't see that footage. I know that there was an hour of footage that this whole thing is such a is such a fiasco, DJ, that like...
That's the first word that you're going to say.
Just everything about this is crazy. I know I really was just trying to think of fiasco. I know what you thought I was thinking, but it wasn't. I really was trying to come up with fiasco. But yeah, an hour of that accidentally got played during some live watches of, some watches of Tom and Jerry, so some people got it and some people didn't.
How crazy is that? How does that happen?
It's
not
so
weird.
I don't know. Some kind of glitch is all they said, and I don't know how that's even possible. It's very, very strange.
Maybe they were just trying to, I think they were just trying to get their Tom and Jerry numbers up, so they did that for a couple people so that everyone would go watch Tom and Jerry to see if it worked for them, and now their Tom and Jerry numbers are
if they did it on purpose, they certainly didn't tell Zack Snyder, because he was livid. He was clearly very angry about this, and there was an article that posted about it that he, and I don't know if he was joking or not, that he responded to on Twitter and said, "Take this down or I will call the cops." And I don't know if that article, because I didn't see the article. I just saw it. Somebody sent me the screenshot of it, so I didn't actually see the article. But I don't know if the article had footage of it in it, or if he just didn't like that people were even talking about the fact that it happened. I'm not sure. It was very strange.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be frustrating. It's really funny. Hopefully he was joking.
Professor Jim says he needs to market it. So does he though? Does he need to market it that hard and he's the only one doing it? I don't know. It seems kind of a little bit embarrassing to me. Like they've already got a marketing department. Like I get that people will, go around, make the rounds and do interviews with people and stuff. But he just seems a little desperate for attention to me. And again, it's weird that none of the other actors involved seem excited about the fact that this is happening and are talking about it, at least from what I've seen. Henry Cavill made a big deal because he's not happy with, I don't know if it's just this coming out as part of it. He's obviously not happy with what they're doing with Superman, and that he didn't get to play what he thinks is, real Superman. He doesn't like those movies either. It's pretty clear. And he made a big deal out of not supporting the movie and not promoting it. But then, he's boycotting promoting it. And I understand that to a degree. But then DJ, nobody else is promoting it either. So I don't know why that's a big deal.
I don't know that yeah, it's a fiasco. It's really weird. And it feels like it.
And it's that other thing that he thought I was going to say, but I wasn't.
All right. Anyway, James Egan, $5, but it's in A. What is A? Do we know what that is?
What now?
What currency is A?
Oh, Australian dollar? Or...
I thought that usually says AU when someone comes from
yeah,
Australia.
it does. I don't know what A is. That's new to me.
Interesting.
James, where are you from, man? If you don't mind me asking. Don't feel the need to put a super chat in to answer that question. Just write it in the regular.
We're just interested. You don't have to tell us, but he puts in five A's for no consequences to Wanda's actions and her family coming back. Makes really me concerned the MCU moving forward will be really generic.
Yeah, and I can see why you're saying that. I don't think I totally disagree with that, but I need to give it another watch before I can be sure that I feel the same way. And again, we'll talk about all that stuff on Sunday. When you say there's no consequences to her actions, there might be more down the road as it goes. The problem is she's so super powerful. What would anybody even do to her? That's kind of the question. I don't think that it's a tragic thing. I think she's kind of back in the same place, the same kind of doghouse she was in Age of Ultron to a degree. I mean, it should be more than that, of course, but like I don't think she's played as ultra heroic at the end. I think it's a redemption story before it's anything, or she's on the way to redemption. There's consequences in the sense that none of those people at the end are happy with her. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's. But I don't know that that's enough for me either. Anyway, I need to avoid talking spoilers with that show. Whoops. We'll talk about it on Sunday. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, Sunday. Spoiler cast for WandaVision. Rohit Tohar, if you were a creative writing professor, what comics would you use as examples of good storytelling outside of Watchmen and The Dark Knight Returns in your classroom?
That's a good question. I'm trying not to just go to the same stuff I always go to. People have been asking a whole lot of like, favorite comics kinds of questions lately, and I have not been in like a comic space. I've been working so much on superhero movies and other stuff that I feel like I get put on the spot, and I'm worried I'm not saying, the most interesting things I could be bringing up. But I would go to Vaughn. I would go to Why the Last Man and stuff like that. Very likely, and I know that is taught in comic classes quite a bit, but that is a thing that would be hard not to want to bring up and talk about. There's certainly superhero stuff that I would go to in talking about like different kinds of good storytelling, because comics aren't always about being literary. So I would try to go to different kinds of things, like here's what good melodrama looks like versus crappy melodrama, and here's what good parody or farce looks like as opposed to just kind of trashy stuff. But I mean, there's a number of things I could go to for any of those. Let me think what else. I've been bringing up Klaus a lot lately, but as a singular standalone piece, that would be a thing that would be good to look at.
I want to read that so bad.
Yeah, you got it. It's wonderful.
I think I would love it. I love Christmas. I love fantasy. I love comics. That would be really cool. Speaking of, really quick, if I may ask a question to the audience, do you guys know me pretty well? I'm interested in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but I don't know much about it. Do you guys think I would like that book? Anyone who's read it?
Yeah, and I've never read any of that, believe it or not.
That's like right up my alley, but I just don't know if the sensibilities of the book will be my thing, because I know nothing about it. But anyway, just throwing it out there. Let me know if you guys have read it.
I would go to Frank Miller's Ronin. That would be a that would be a thing that would be interesting to look at. Like runs and things. There are parts of to look at like absurdist comic stuff that still has like heart to it. That's like literary but also out there and superhero. The Allred's Silver Surfer comes to mind. Yeah, I mean, there's a million things I could bring up. Obviously,
you only got one semester, man.
Noel, Batman Noel. Of course, the Superman Earth 1 books, which I bring up all the time. I know.
Yeah, sounds like it'd be a fun class. I'd like to take it. Never say never. Could be
those are just some possible things. All-Star Superman would be good. Long Halloween I would not use. I actually think the end of that is terrible and doesn't ultimately make sense. Born Again, yes, of course. Yeah, definitely. A couple of arcs of Ultimate Spider-Man I would go to.
Cool.
Anyway,
yeah, great answer.
It's hard not to want to be really, really thorough with that and bring up everything I've ever loved. Go ahead.
James Egan said it is Australian, so YouTube must have just made some changes and they're just putting A instead of AU lately.
Okay, all right, interesting.
Because I know they used to do that.
I couldn't think of what else it possibly could be.
Yeah, well, thanks for tuning in from Australia, man. We'd love to have you.
Thanks for that question,
all right.
That was cool. Yeah, I don't know what kind of curriculum I would do.
Go back to pre-written here. Mutale. How do you think Fox would have handled Scarlet Witch if they used her instead of Quicksilver?
Oh, you know what, Rohith? Yeah, Tom King's vision, and we just reviewed that a couple weeks ago. I absolutely agree with that. It would also be interesting. I know not everybody thinks that this is as great as I do, but to look at some of, at least, House of X and Powers of X, although it's so long, I don't know that you could get away with that in a classroom. Anyway, I'm sorry. What was that question?
Utalia wants to know, how do you think Fox would have handled Scarlet Witch if they used her instead of Quicksilver?
Wow, that's a great
So
question.
I guess that would have been Days of Future Past.
She would have been just Phoenix again.
Oh no.
She would have just gone crazy and murdered everything. Like that's all it would have been, and it would have been really superficial compared to what you got with House of M, where it would have just been like in the opening scene, her children are killed, and she just has like regular children. They're not like souls that came from hell or anything. They're just children, and then they die, and then she just starts murdering everything and creates like a giant wasteland in 20 minutes. That's what that movie would be. It depends on who writes and directs it, obviously. If it would, but that's the thing is if it's, I don't know who would have even put her in that universe. Like even if they had the rights to her, I don't know that we would have gotten her.
Singer definitely wouldn't have steered into the magic side.
No,
that would have not been his thing.
Yeah, exactly.
She would have just been
I don't
like.
know that Vaughn would have either.
Yeah, I don't know. They would have like that's the thing. You take that out, she's really generic. She's just like a telekinetic mutant, which we already have, which is Jean Grey.
Yeah, unless you did something with her and Quicksilver as brother and sister, like we did in the MCU. Like I don't know exactly what that looks like, but you could have done like a whole Magneto family thing. You could have actually given Magneto a family where he had those children. That's a thing you could have done. And then you could have, I don't know, you could have had them become X-Men instead of Avengers. It would have been maybe an interesting dynamic to have his kids as teenagers run away from him because they don't agree with his philosophy and go to Xavier and be in the school, and Xavier has to protect them from Magneto. That would be a thing to do. That could be cool. But I wouldn't think you would want her and Jean Grey in the same film. I would think you would want one or the other.
Yeah. Well, he said instead of Quicksilver, so I'm guessing it would be Days of Future Past is when they would have done it.
I apologize. Now I'm just changing your question to make it more interesting to me, apparently. I'm sorry. I forgot that's what you said.
Sped of Askew, $10. You are an average Joe.
Good to see you.
Living
10 pounds.
In...
That's the European pound.
All around.
British pound, I should say.
We're getting all kinds of different people. No Canadians tonight, unfortunately. You are an average Joe living in the MCU.
That's not true. Oh, I'm sorry.
Which superhero's biopic would you want to see? Side note, isn't it crazy that biopic in a superhero universe would need a blockbuster budget?
It would. Yeah, that's a good point. Unless you made it like the Patrick Warburton tick where it was just all the stuff that happens in between.
Wow, that's a good question.
So, it's hard. Yeah, that's a weird question. I mean, I like it, but it's hard not to just think of the movies that we had already where, like not being a fictional character in that universe and seeing what movies were enjoyable and which ones I didn't like as much. It's hard not to just go to, well, I kind of have a sense of what the biopics would look like, right? Like, to some degree. Like, the ones that I would want to see a biopic of, I would think would be the movies that I found most interesting. Like, like Winter Soldier or like First Avenger or even Iron Man 3, like, I would think that as a person living in that universe, I would want the same stories that I loved not living in that universe.
Yeah, what would it be? Like, what would the First Avenger biopic be? It would be the same story.
Yeah,
but the problem is
just because if you're just picking a character, a biopic isn't always. I mean, I guess dictionary definition biopic is like life story, but very often what we call biopics are just based on a true story, stories that take place within a certain span of a person's life, but not their whole life, and that's mostly what the MCU movies are too. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, at that point, it's almost like just asking me what my favorite character is, or what I think is the most interesting story.
It would be interesting to get an actual biography, like of Captain America, like from, Captain America birth to when he dies.
Yeah, it's easier to ask documentary than biopic, right?
Yeah, because that would be cool. That would be more like the Watchmen documentary. What's that one called that they did on the disc? That was his book, Under the Hood. Yeah, that would be cool. Because it would be different.
But no, if I have to throw out an answer, let me think for a second. I mean, who's the most like interesting character study in that world? Does it have to be a superhero? It has to be a superhero.
Yeah, superheroes biopic. What you want to see?
Wow.
Logan, maybe. Maybe if you could.
But that's not MCU.
Oh, that's true. Dang it.
Yeah, no, sure. It would be an X-Man. It would be Professor X or something. If I could go with that. But no, in MCU, I don't know. I mean, I almost want to try to think of somebody that we don't know much about.
The Quicksilver biopic. It's like a 15-minute short.
Maybe, you know what, I guess I know what my answer is. My answer is gonna be, I didn't mean to take this long to answer this. My answer is gonna be, what's his face?
Oh, that's a great answer.
My mind is blanking. Clint Barton between, what's it called? Infinity War and Endgame, right? Like the Ronin story. Like that's.
Oh yeah, there you go. Ronin, an MCU story.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
That's cool. Yeah, definitely. Someone that we don't. Yeah, give me a Warriors 3 biopic.
Sure.
Because we know nothing about them.
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
Right up until they're all
Malekith,
killed.
if he was actually Malekith. But I know that's not a superhero.
I think we've solved it. We need to pick someone that's in the background that we don't get enough information and we want more. Duh. Why didn't we think of that in the beginning?
I don't know. But yeah, my answer is Hawkeye when he's not Hawkeye.
Anime 2021 says the Welder.
The Welder's not in the... Oh, no, he is in the MCU. That's Spider-Man.
Yeah. The most boring biopic ever.
No, that was a good super chat. I wanted to answer it well. Anyway, thanks, man.
Yeah. That's the last one I have. Let me go back and do one or two more. Favorite.
So we'll say now. Sorry, last call for super chat. So if you want to leave another one in the next couple minutes, feel free. We'll go ahead and answer another pre-written or two, and then if we don't see any more super chats, we will bid everybody farewell. Go ahead, DJ.
Yes. Daniel Davis. Favorite comfort food movie for you? Something that you can put on and it automatically makes you happy.
Say that one more time. Comfort what now?
Comfort food movie, just a movie that you can put on anytime and it automatically makes you happy.
My answer to that, and I'm sorry because a lot of you guys will know this already, but it's hard not to say the same stuff for some of these. But my answer to that is, of course, Field of Dreams.
Cool. It's okay because nobody's gonna know my answer. It's actually a movie that I watched today. I just got in the mail. Just Like Dad. With Wallace Shawn from 1995.
Wallace Shawn, that's hilarious.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it is a wonderful movie. It is the movie of my childhood that, you know, the one that you put in every single night and you fall asleep to for like a couple years. Like that was my movie. I've seen it a bazillion times. VHS tape only. Finally got it on DVD. It's like a very low budget, like I don't know if it's independent. It was released as a film festival, but it was distributed by Sandstar, which is like a family entertainment company that used to like mail you VHS tapes in the mail. But because of that reason, they went back and edited the movie and cut stuff out to make it more family friendly, I guess, even though they already distributed it once. And they didn't need to cut that stuff out. So it was really annoying. I could never find a full version of it. There was like minutes cut out of the movie, like lines, and I was always really annoyed. Found a version on eBay last week, bought it. It's still edited a little bit. It's really annoying, but it's mostly the movie that I had when I grew up. It's called Just Like Dad. Wallace Shawn plays the dad, and it's not a great movie, but it just makes me feel really good. I watched it this morning while I was working, and it made me smile. No one knows what I'm talking about.
Do you still have a VCR?
I do not.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately. I don't have any VHS tapes. I left them all at my parents' house, and I upgraded everything to DVD. That's the only movie that I can't get on DVD, which is annoying.
Oh, wow. Let's do one more, sir.
All right.
Make it great. Be like Pizza Hut in the late 80s. Make it great. As opposed to their current slogan, which is "No one out pizzas the Hut." And if you're Pizza Hut, you should never say Pizza the Hut. Like, why would you do that? And that's been their slogan for a while now. Like, why? Why? Like, how do you not know you're accidentally making a Spaceballs reference when you say that?
Oh man. Well, we can end on this. We just got a super chat from Spedivus Q.
Well, thanks again, man.
How €10, how £10? How would the dynamic change if the next Batman / TMNT crossover had a grittier / more serious version of the Turtles meet more lighthearted / comedic Batman? Also, the Finnish currency is euros. Oh, so it is euros.
Thanks. Yeah, it is euros. That's isn't that what I said? Isn't that what I thought? Yeah. I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't. Anyway, yeah, a darker Turtles meeting a lighthearted Batman. No, that's a good idea. I mean, I think it would be cooler to have, personally, just an even more gritty version of the Turtles meet a kind of standard Batman. Like, I like what they did with those and with the movie, okay, but it would be a lot cooler to do a really stylized Mirage type piece where you took the kind of Mirage Turtles wholesale from the 80s books and put them with like a Frank Miller Batman or something like that. I think that would be super, super cool. But yeah, you sort of have the flip of what you have if you do what you're suggesting, where, I mean, it's not like 87 Turtles, but they're somewhere in between. They're lighthearted. They're not even the 2012 Turtles really. But they're kind of I'm talking about in the crossovers we have, they're kind of the IDW Turtles, but made maybe like a little more superficial seeming. And I think they're sort of supposed to just be the IDW Turtles, but I don't buy that. It's not really that version. So yeah, you kind of have that. So if you have the flip of it, if they met like something like a campy Batman, like a 60s Batman, or like Brave and the Bold Batman, or I guess more 60s than Brave and the Bold, it would be kind of fun to have the switch of that where the Turtles are telling Batman to like, well, I was gonna say not be so jokey and silly, but that's not even really what a like, comic Batman is. Like, he still plays things pretty straight. So yeah, Dagon Spear, they could lean into the Spaceballs reference. No, if they did that, it would be disgusting. Like, imagine if they used him in their advertising. It'd be gross.
Most food advertising these days is pretty gross. So.
And then pizza will send out for you.
I haven't actually seen Spaceballs, guys, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, you gotta do it. You gotta watch Spaceballs.
I should. I'm lost.
I guarantee you 60% of this audience knows what I'm talking about.
Good. I'm glad.
I always drink coffee when I'm watching Radar. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, folks. Hope you had a good time this evening. That's going to do it for us tonight. Tomorrow night is going to be, like I said, the premiere for the Superhero Rewind on the theatrical version of Justice League before I have seen the Snyder Cut. And then Sunday night is the spoiler cast for WandaVision. So look forward to that. And everybody's quoting Spaceballs. You're delicious. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching. Once again, I was Captain Logan. That is DJ Martinez.
That was me.
And we sure appreciate you guys. Bye, everybody.